Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Breathe Your Dream Life into Reality. Discover the power of elemental rhythm breathwork for releasing blocks and connecting to your soul's calling. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm really blessed to be with you here because some of my initial spiritual openings really happened in a breathwork context. I trained and studied with holotropic breathwork and really found it such a profound portal to deeper dimensions of myself, to healing the past, releasing and opening. And I've been excited to see how the breathwork field has continued to evolve and each new pioneer sort of building on the insights of the last. And we're going to get to really go to the forefront of this breathwork movement globally with a remarkable teacher today. His name is Giovanni Bartolomeo. He's the co-founder of Elemental Rhythm Breathwork, and we're going to have a very experiential hour, particularly with him today. And if you want to go further, we've got a brand new course that we're very excited about called Elemental Rhythm Breathwork that we're going to be launching soon, and you can hear about that in the latter part of the hour. So, Giovanni, thank you so much for joining us here today.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with the team and really putting like a lot of intention into this course. So I'm grateful to be here and grateful for this workshop today that we're about to dive into.
Great. Well, I've shared a little glimpse of my own journey, which with breathwork, which was incredibly healing and opening and revelatory for me. I'd love to hear about your journey and why breathwork became really such a central focus for your journey of transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share. It's always like, where do I start this story? Because my journey of transformation, when I look back, had a lot of different points of, I guess, shifts in the path that I was on. But before I found breathwork, I was a serial entrepreneur. I grew up with the belief, because I was told by my parents, net worth and self-worth were the same thing. So working hard, doing well in school, so that I can make money, be successful, and then be happy. So I realized I didn't want to be a chartered accountant like my dad wanted me to be. And so I became an entrepreneur. And then for about maybe 10 or 15 years, I was doing everything I could to make money, different businesses. I was really going through a lot of self-inflicted pain and suffering of not feeling good enough and trying harder, being hard on myself. And I finally started to make a little bit of money. I got married, bought my first house, had a mortgage, and things were starting to look on the up and up. And as I started making a little bit of money, I realized that nothing within me had changed. That feeling, there was a feeling that was missing. I thought, now I should be happy. Like when I do this, then I'll be happy. Then I did that thing, and then I still felt the same. And I had this weird kind of daydream where I was sitting at the side of my bed and I looked at my hands and looked at these old wrinkly hands of my grandfather's. And this voice came to me. It was the first time I heard a voice that wasn't my usual self-talk. And it was kind of bringing me the awareness that, you've worked hard, you're doing a good job, you're a clever guy. And you're probably going to do the same thing you're doing now for the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And you look back at your life and you're like, who cares? It doesn't really matter. You're not doing anything meaningful. And I realized in that moment, the feeling that I was feeling that was so uncomfortable was unfulfillment and lack of purpose. And so I didn't know how to solve that problem. As an entrepreneur, I was a good problem solver, but I realized quickly it's a problem of the heart and I couldn't solve it with my mind. So I went to Google and, like what most people do is like ask, what's the meaning of life? Like it was going to give me an answer. And it didn't, and ChatGPT didn't exist yet, but it led me on this journey, started watching videos like Alan Watts and like different philosophers. And I was really trying to expand my frame of knowledge to see what else was out there. And that led me down to South America into the plant medicine journey, which was interesting and humbling, and really put me on this path of I need to find new teachers. I need to find new people that I can learn from, because the bubble I was living in, I wasn't going to find it there. And so I set that intention when I came back, almost like with a clean slate, realizing like I didn't know anything about anything at that point. And very quickly, I met one of my first real teachers, which was a guy by the name of Wim Hof. He was the Iceman. Does all these like crazy feats in the snow, climbs the mountains in his shorts. And I invited him on a podcast, and it was before he was kind of super famous. And so I went out there, and so we did the podcast. He invited me to come do this first training. So I did the training. And I didn't really know anything about breathwork yet, or cold exposure for that matter. And the first thing that caught my awareness was there was a group of like 30 or 40 people around the same age as me. And when they were doing the intro and just sharing, each one of them were sharing about how the last 6 to 12 months of their life completely transformed them, doing daily breathwork, connecting with nature, cold exposure and mindfulness and mindset work. And, whether it was chronic pain, depression, anxiety, insomnia, like you name it. And I was kind of like, whoa, there's something really interesting here, but I wasn't really sure what it was. It came to me. I didn't really know why I was there yet. I said, I thought it'd be cool to get a picture with Wim, maybe get some Instagram followers, something silly like that. And so we did the whole week. We jumped in the frozen lakes and climbed the mountain in our shorts. And it was really cool. And the last day, he led us through this breathing experience, which was very different from the method that I had learned from him. It was a deeper dive, maybe similar to like a holotropic breath work or something like that, where he's banging a drum and he's getting us to breathe. And I don't know how long into it was, but all of a sudden I feel this vibration like rushing through my body, and I felt safe, and I trusted this guy because I hadn't died yet in the mountains, and I just stuck with it. And next thing you know, I have a completely out of body experience. I'm floating around at the top of this log cabin. I'm looking down. And I see myself, and I get scared. I'm like, what happened? Am I dead? Type thing. And the fear, I think, snapped me back into my body. So I opened my eyes, and it was like I felt like I was reborn. There's no other way to put it. I never felt anything like this. It was very different than the plant medicines experiences I had. And I was feeling this well of emotion coming up, and I was like, tough guys don't cry. That was how I grew up. But before I could even finish that thought, I just started weeping uncontrollably. Crying. And I allowed myself to cry, and I allowed myself to feel in something I hadn't done in such a long time. And that voice kind of came back to me, and it was saying like, Gio, you're doing a great job. Don't give up. Follow your heart. Like this voice came from again, it was a different voice than I was used to, the way I would talk to myself. And I remember when that kind of subsided, feeling like 10 pounds lighter, but this curiosity was sparked inside of me. It was like, what was that just happened that I did with my own breath? That was one of the most profound experiences of my life, and I felt different, and I was changed ever since. And I came back to Toronto at the time, seeking anyone I can learn breathwork from, anyone at all. And there wasn't a lot. Like now, there's a lot of resources. So I'd find myself, talking to some yogis and going to this apartment with tapestries and incense, and learning about holotropic breath work. And then I went down to study with Institute of Heart Math and learned about heart coherence. And I was trying to recreate that experience, and slowly using the rhythm of music, rhythmic breathing, and specific meditations, I was able to go back into that space and have these experiences. And this was my own practice, and I had a wellness studio at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to share this with some of the community here. And when I shared it with them, and they had this similar experience. I say similar because they had their own experience. They didn't have the same experience I had, but they had their own moment of clarity, or what we might call a breakthrough, an aha moment, an emotional release. I could see the look in their eyes, and the gratitude they shared with me was the first time I felt like real fulfillment. And it was like a palpable feeling. And I felt like, okay, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping other people to get clarity in their life so they can have their own transformative moments and their own transformation. It was very different than any business deal I'd ever done, where you get that dopamine hit and that's gone really quick and you're on to the next one. This was something that was much different, much richer, much more fulfilling. And so from then on, I just really dedicated myself to sharing this with others, and eventually started training people how to offer this and create our whole platform. And just now I get to like share this. I get to travel a lot. I get to go to festivals and talks and conferences and do courses. And I've built this beautiful community from something that I never thought in a million years that I'd be doing. But something had to shift from being stuck in my head most of my life and analyzing, analytical, because it was like my safety mechanism, to get into my heart and start to lead with intuition, curiosity, and following that.
Well, you offer a beautiful pathway for others to follow. And I want to dive a little bit further in when that first breakthrough experience where you sort of left your body and then kind of had this rebirth experience. I'd love for you to share just a little bit of what you know now about how breath is able to open such a powerful portal, really, in ourselves, neurologically, spiritually, to allow something that big to happen just on the, virtues of our own breath.
Yeah, so it's interesting because as I looked more and more into the science, I started to see that rhythmic breathing actually changes activity in the brain. Our prefrontal cortex, where they say the ego resides, is where a lot of the analytical mind is, a lot of rumination, thinking, doubt. I think Napoleon Hill talks about the ego as like the devil, which is like that which makes you doubt everything, and like that fear type thing. And what happens when you're doing rhythmic breathing, the activity changes, the default mode network kind of shuts off and goes quiet, which allows you to go deeper into the subconscious mind. without all those protectors that are really there. You know, I think your ego is really your amigo. It's there trying to protect you because of things that might happen to you and it's trying to keep you safe. But there's a point where that no longer serves us. And so that's the one thing is it gets that out of the way. So it allows you to go deeper, maybe feel safe. And then, you know, visions, you can have visions, memories, experiences, emotional releases. And, you know, some people postulate that it's a natural release of DMT in the body because they say like our pineal gland can create DMT, and some of the spinal breathing techniques out there talk about that as well. I don't think it's actually been officially scientifically proven that there's actually DMT because it's very hard to measure in the body, but there's a lot of theories out there that kind of show that that could be true. But also when we're breathing, especially in those more like holotropic type breathwork styles, what's actually happening in the body is when we exhale too much CO2, like carbon dioxide is actually a really important molecule because actually is what delivers oxygen to our tissues, to our brain. So when we don't have enough CO2, oxygen levels drop a little bit in the brain, and it gives us some of that like hypoxic, low oxygen level, and maybe the body thinks it's dying, and that's where it kind of has this like your life flashes before your eyes, or brings you into this state where you have these really powerful experiences. And when I did more research, I saw that every single religious or almost all religions talk about breath as like the gateway to like the spirit or the soul, and even the word is the same thing in many cultures. Like spira is to breathe, and spirit is like the same words. So there's an interesting link there, and the science also kind of shows that. And the experiences kind of speak for themselves. Like I'm sure your own experience was equally as profound when you got into holotropic.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about elemental rhythm breathwork, because you're sort of building on a legacy of different breathwork methods, and really what have you synthesized there and what makes it unique?
Yeah, so the first thing that really kind of was like the first real unlock for me was that a lot of the breath work that I was doing initially, I would find myself drifting, where I was breathing a little bit, then I was forgetting to breathe, my mind was kind of active, and I couldn't really stick with it. And so for me, once I started using rhythmic music at specific beats per minute and breathing to the rhythm of the music, it helped me to lock in and go fast, deeper, a lot faster. You know, so it was kind of been trained to that rhythmic breathing. So that was one of the first unlocks. Then we use like different breathing patterns for different experiences. Some are more down regulating. So let's understanding the nervous system, extending the exhale can bring us more to like safety and deep rest, which is good for certain experiences. And then other ones were kind of upregulating. So we're using, you know, stepping up the breath, going a little bit faster. So we added the elements, you know, each element's like earth, water, air, fire to change that. And the upregulation can also help to complete a stress cycle, something like that. Sometimes helps with a breakthrough. But what I also found was I would get to these really open moments where I was in this space where I guess now what that prefrontal cortex default mode network kind of shuts off. And I started putting in some very specific guided meditations in there. So like using some of the stuff that I'd learned from like Institute Heart Math around heart coherence. And I found that with just a little bit of guidance in that open space, it was taking me like super deep to have these experiences, open the heart, feel things that I wasn't able to feel, process things that were harder to process, even like see things that I couldn't see before. Like, and I hear this a lot with people that I work with. It's like they've done a lot of inner child work, but they've never actually been able to see themselves. You know, and in this process, it's allowing people to see the younger versions of themselves and really connect with them at a different level and have these emotional experiences that are very profound and long lasting, create long term change. And so those are a few of the elements that we put in together that have made this like a really amazing modality that is similar in some ways to many of the building blocks that it was kind of built on, but also unique in its own way that
Hmm.
has helped people to really kind of create real long lasting change in their life.
Great. Well, I'd love you to also share a little bit about sort of how you work with sort of the deeper kind of things that need to be, maybe have time and space to kind of work through, and then also the kind of quicker resets in the course of a day where you sort of kind of just get back into
Yeah,
your center.
yeah. So I like to think of it, and I look at it as like there's like, well, first of all, breath work is like a blanket term. There's so many things you can do with the breath. It controls the nervous system. It's like linked to every system in the body. But if I had to simplify it, you know, I would say there's the foundation or the baseline for your nervous system, which comes with practice, which comes with improving breathing mechanics that will help you to kind of have more energy, to sleep better, to have more clarity in the moment, in less racing mind, more presence in the actual moment, which helps. one, to just navigate life much easier, make better decisions, not being so reactive. But I find too, a lot of people that I've been working with, like they don't have a clear vision of what they want to create. Okay. And so being able to have clarity and presence in the moment allows you to kind of look into the future a little bit. The other thing that it helps you to do is some of the introspective work helps you to go in and kind of rework the past. Because a lot of things that are holding us back or feeling blocked right now is based on things we've experienced or had a belief around that we need to process. And so some of those deeper breathwork experiences with a little bit of guidance and intention can help you to go and reprocess some of those things. And so, if I just wait for me to get all riled up or triggered and then use breathwork, then it might help in that moment, but it's not going to stop that trigger from happening over and over again because there's something that has to be worked on. And the same thing, if I just learn the practice, but I'm not building a foundation every day where I'm doing a daily breathwork practice to make my nervous system more resilient and reduce stress, then it's going to be less effective when it actually happens. But if I can practice and build resiliency, then I'm going to be able to navigate the world in a different way, be less reactive, be able to respond when things come up in my life. So I found the combination of the two and just building those practices have been like instrumental into the transformational journey that I've been on and working with other people as well.
Well, it's great that you're addressing both ends of the spectrum there. So I know you want to take us on a deeper journey than we typically do for an introductory event like this, and really have some time and space to have people have a profound experience with this. So let's go ahead and transition and have you guide us in a bit of an experience of all this.
Okay, so before we get started, I'll just explain real quick how it's going to go down. So if you're pregnant or have epilepsy, I wouldn't recommend doing breath work. If you have any serious health conditions, we're going to do a gentler breath work today. But if you're unsure, it's better just to just breathe gently, follow the meditation, you'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to breathe in through our nose. We're going to exhale through our mouth. You can be seated up. You can lay back and relax. Also, you never want to do breath work if you're driving, if you're in water, or anywhere where you might get a little bit lightheaded or pass out, which I don't think is going to be likely for this experience. But you just want to be sure that, if I were to get lightheaded, I wouldn't put any danger to myself or anyone else. Okay, so we're going to be breathing into the nose, into the diaphragm. So you can put a hand on your chest, a hand on your belly. And the breath is going to be simple. So deep breath in, into the diaphragm, then up into the chest, then exhale. I'm going to have two rhythms today. One is the earth rhythm, which is going to be in for 4 counts, out for 4, and then ether, which is going to be in for 4, out for 8, and a few gentle breath holds. Okay, so I'm going to just go from here, follow the prompts, and at the end, I'm going to guide you through a little guided meditation. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so just closing our eyes, taking a slow, deep breath in. Dropping our shoulders, exhaling, just relaxing the body. I just invite you to think of one thing you're grateful for today. And then also to set an intention. These next 10 to 15 minutes, just to really connect to yourself. Maybe there's a question you want to have answered or something that you're working on. Just set that intention. We're going to start breathing, so just follow the rhythm. Okay, so we're going to start with the earth breath. And it's going to be in for 4, out for 4. Okay, so here we go. So in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In and out. In and out. Follow that rhythm. In and out. Deeper and deeper each breath. Just start to follow your breath with your awareness as it moves in through your nose, deep into your belly, exhaling again, keeping your body relaxed. Just full deep breaths. Again, as you exhale, just try to relax anywhere you feel tension in your body. Deeply into the diaphragm, feel a stretch up in the rib cage, then exhaling, relaxing. And so into the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Just bring your awareness to each breath. So feel it moving in through your nose, feel the expansion. Just trying to be as present as possible, feeling into each breath. So you're doing a great job. feeling grounded, feeling centered, just feeling into your personal strength, feeling the expansiveness of each breath. We're going to change it up. We're going to extend the exhale. So just follow me and count you in. So the ether breaths. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deep breath in and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deeper and deeper with each breath. Slowing your exhale, just relaxing, feeling your state start to change. In and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deep breath in and out. If you can't make it all the way to 8 in the exhale, just do your best. If at any point it feels too intense, you want to slow it down, you're in control, just come back to your breath. Just extending each exhale. Remember, each inhale is full, expanding the diaphragm up into the chest. Bringing your awareness to each part of your breath, into the nose. As you exhale, slowly relax your body. Each breath going a little bit deeper, surrendering a little bit more, trusting yourself, just connecting with your intention. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just really focus on the depth of each breath. We want to make sure we're getting a full diaphragmatic breath, deep into your belly, up into your chest, all the way up to your collarbone. We're slowly exhaling. You should be starting to feel yourself just dropping into the present moment. The mind starting to slow down a little bit. Do a few more breaths. Drop into a gentle breath hold here. Okay, so last breath, we're gonna take a deep breath in. Just gonna let it out gently. Just hold on empty lungs. Just feel that stillness. Just be present to whatever you feel in your body. When you feel that urge to breathe, just sit with it for a few seconds and take a slow, deep breath back into your nose. But keep holding if you can. Okay, whenever you feel that urge, you can take that first deep breath in. We're gonna do one more round. So we're just gonna go a little bit deeper in this next round. All right, here we go. So we're gonna start back with the earth breath. So the earth breath is about grounding, feeling the earth, feeling centered, feeling safe, feeling connected to your breath. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Full deep breaths, do your best. Sharp inhale, feel the belly expand up into the rib cage. Exhale, letting go. Just connecting with yourself, each breath. You are safe, you are supported, you are connected. Believe in yourself each breath. Breathing in, feeling strong, feeling powerful, feeling centered. Just connecting with the life force, the chi, the prana. With each breath, feeling that expansion. And as you exhale, just relaxing the body. In and out. 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in. And out. 2, 3, 4. Great job. Keep going. Full exhale. That's it. Great job. And out. 2, 3, 4. Just follow your breath inward. Feel it move through your nose. As you exhale, feel your body just relaxing, dropping the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. Any tension you feel, just breathe into it. On the exhale, let it go. Feeling your body start to shift into that safety, to that parasympathetic nervous system with each breath. Feel a little more relaxed, a little more present. We're going to switch it up one more time. Go into the double exhale here. Remember, in for 4, out for 8. Do your best. Deep breath in, slow exhale. Here we go. So in, 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deep breath in. So keep going. A few more breaths, doing great. Really focusing on extending those exhales. Just feeling strong in your breath, connecting to yourself. Bring your awareness to each breath as it moves in through your nose. As you exhale, just relaxing. Being present, letting go. Just breathing with the rhythm of the music. In and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Getting one more breath in, deep breath all the way in as deep as you can. Another sip of breath right at the top. I'm going to hold for a few seconds. I'm just going to let go and hold on empty here. Just hold and pause and feel that stillness. And when you feel that urge to breathe, you keep holding if you can keep holding. You feel that urge to breathe, and come back to it. Just a gentle breath, keeping your eyes closed. Just slow, gentle breath. invite you now, as you take a slow, deep breath in, to think of or remember a moment in your life where you experienced an immense amount of gratitude. It could have been the birth of a child, something someone did for you, something you accomplished, time in nature, maybe a transformational moment or experience. And I invite you to go to that moment as if it is happening right now. Visualize the colors, the sights, the sounds. Who's there with you in this moment? And just allow time to completely stop in this moment of gratitude. I invite you to bring your awareness to what the feeling of gratitude feels like in your body. What does the feeling of gratitude feel like in your body? Just going to slowly bring that feeling of gratitude up to the center of our chest. And our next inhale, I invite you to inhale through your heart, that feeling of gratitude, allow it to expand throughout every cell in your body. And each breath through the heart, feeling of gratitude, expanding. Allow it to vibrate through every cell in your body and beyond yourself. As we step into this frequency of gratitude, as you continue to breathe it in, I invite you to visualize yourself 6 months from now, 12 months from now. In this vibration of the future you, where anything is possible. As you open your eyes in the experience, keep your eyes closed here, but as you awaken to this new you, what does it feel like to completely transform? Where parts of you may have felt heavy in the past, they feel light and expansive. What does abundance feel like in this future vision of yourself? How do you feel supported and alive, curious, excited, motivated, purpose-led, fulfilled, doing what you love, impacting others? This is your vision, so just feel into it from that place of gratitude, that high vibration, and create a vision for yourself as if it has already happened. And what's important is try to tap into that frequency of what it feels like. Even if you felt like you've transformed 100 times already, or if you're just getting started, what does that next evolution feel like in your body? A little more expansive, a little more lighter, a little more excited maybe. Okay, and I invite you in this space. We're going to end with one question. What is that first thing that I need to do right now? That's my next step on this journey to becoming who I already am. Let's see if something comes up for you. It's an insight, a name, a word, something you've already been looking into. I invite you to make a commitment with your future self right now. That one thing that has come up for you, to commit to looking into it. Or maybe making a commitment, whatever that means. Okay, so you can stare your future self directly in the eyes, take a deep breath in. As your future self shares some gratitude for you, for all the work you've put in, send that gratitude back. Make that commitment to yourself. When you feel complete, you can start to wiggle your fingers, give yourself a little stretch, and open your eyes.
Thank you for that beautiful arc of deepening in just 15 minutes or so. I want to just, yeah, ask some questions about that that people may have up. You want to share anything about like what tends to come up as you're doing in terms of energies in the body or openings and things that are moving that might be unusual in their normal consciousness?
Yeah, so there's a lot of sensations on the physical level that you may feel in the body. You just like to start there. So tingling in the body, lightness, heaviness. You may see colors or visions, or sound can change in the room on the physical aspect. Sometimes emotions will come up, you know. And one of my philosophies is like usually emotions are like a GPS to the soul. It's a kind of a guidance system. So sometimes in breathwork you have these big releases or smaller releases. And sometimes it's because we're holding things in that need to come out, or sometimes we have something that we need to express more of. But what's important as we get into this space where the mind kind of drops out is to just try to be present to what we're feeling in the body, because the body stores pretty much everything. It's like it keeps track of all the things that happen in our life. And I found that through doing this work and being present, so if you were following along and you had like a vision or something came up, that thing you have to do, you know, it doesn't mean like have to do it. It means, okay, I should start bringing my awareness to that thing that came up and explore it a little more and guide it. Because inside of us, one thing I've learned through a lot of trial and error back in the entrepreneurial days is that we have this thing called intuition. If there's too much noise in the sphere, we can't hear that. And that's the spiritual guidance system within us that's leading us. And I find breath work shuts off, clears the noise, and helps you to go into that. And so these feelings are usually kind of directing our soul on the kind of journey we have to go on. Not have to, but I think we're all here for our own individual journey of transformation or whatever we want to call it. And for me, once I found that guidance system, it started leading me in a path that my mind always didn't agree with. But as I went down, I started seeing and trusting more and more. And that's how I started building faith. And faith is that trust in like a higher power when you talk about spirituality. And, you know, I think the mind is based in logic and analysis, and the heart, once you start having faith, can like lead you into things that are usually part of your destiny and getting to that dream life
Mm,
that we want to kind of create. Does that make
beautiful.
sense?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
makes total sense. I want to ask also about just you had the earth element and then the ether element. Just what, in terms of like, obviously elemental rhythm is part of this. And so how do you program in, or which elements of breath are you working with at different times and for what reason?
yeah? So as I was doing it, I was really just connecting with a lot of the elements, spending a lot of time in nature, and I found like different elements were also made it easier to remember, but also like they had certain energies and frequencies to them. So the earth is slow; it's very grounded. Ether was even slower because as you extend your exhale, it really brings that parasympathetic state. It really slows things down. Like the ether is more of that like non-physical energy. In other practices, we have water, air, and fire. Water is more fluid, a little bit faster and moving, and we get people to kind of tap into that. Air is a little bit quicker. Like the winds can be very intense, but also can also be very gentle. And then finally, fire, which kind of comes from pranayama, breath of fire. We kind of infuse that one. They're energetic, also stimulating. So we've weaved them into some of the practices to help people just guide them and to remember them, and also bring the energies of the elements as well.
Makes sense. And then when the sort of the grounding and the sort of the gratitude, how is that sort of helping to infuse the kind of path forward towards the dream life?
Yeah, so I found that, when we can open with a really high vibrational frequency, it allows us to kind of explore a little bit deeper. And one of the things that I've learned from one of my teachers, Thais Gibson, she's an expert in the subconscious mind. And she kind of taught me that the fastest way to reprogram a belief is from repetition, emotion, and visualization. Okay. And then a lot of times, so the emotion is trying to tap into gratitude, then creating this visualization, which helps to kind of crystallize the vision. And so bringing that in, we always like this open with that high vibration. I've also found too that also processing things that may feel a bit heavier when you open with a vibration of gratitude allows you to go into some of these areas of our life that might feel a bit stuck or uncomfortable or sadness towards it, and helps us to process it in a different light or from a different perspective. Um, and also, like the gratitude has been shown with science to increase heart rate variability and all these markers in the body. We can get into that space. So we like to bring it in as much as possible in your daily practice. And the breath work is going to that high vibration and then kind of doing some of the inner work.
Very cool. Well, I want to ask about sort of turning this into sort of more of a daily and weekly practice. How do you work with that within your system?
Yeah. So I I'm biased. Like I think people should be in breath work every day. I've seen people that have adopted a breathwork practice have rapid shifts pretty quickly. especially when it's done first thing in the morning. So even if you can do 1 minute of breath work in the morning, it'll have a 100x difference than no minutes in the morning. But 10 minutes is a good practice. Some of the deeper journeys, I tell people to start with a practice, then follow their intuition. Listen to what they need. It's a little bit of work at first, but a daily practice is key. I usually like to start with the fundamentals of the nervous system regulation, so some breathing mechanics and practices. But doing breath work every day will create an amazing baseline, help you have way more kind of self-reflection, intuition, ideas, vision, and also become less reactive to life and more present, all the things I was talking about earlier. So it's like a once a day practice. Some people do it twice a day. You can do breath work before bed to help you sleep better. It's like such a versatile tool that once you learn it, doesn't cost you anything, but has impacts in all areas of your life.
Well, that's a great reason to just start talking a little bit about the upcoming course, since it really is all about how to make this a daily practice and really experience benefits of clearing out some of the old and opening to new downloads and pathways moving forward. So we're really blessed that Giovanni is going to be teaching a brand new course for Shift. It's called Elemental Rhythm Breathwork, and the subtitle is Transcend the Mind and Clear Subconscious Limitations to Remember Why You're Here. You can find it at the URL elementalrhythmcourse.com, elementalrhythmcourse.com. It's a 7-week program. You don't have to have any background with breathwork to join. It's really just if you feel called based upon what you've heard here today and just your own intuition. So, Giovanni, I'd love for you to share in your own words about the intentions you have for what people will come away with from your course, and then we'll go through the modules to give a preview what's coming in each.
Yeah, so I guess my overarching intention almost for everything I do is like, how do I provide someone with a tool that they can take with them for the rest of their life that's going to be as impactful as possible? What's going to help them to deepen their own self-awareness, but also create a foundation for change. It's going to help them have that clarity in the moment, but really create that vision for themselves. And again, like the vision was something that when I was doing a lot of coaching before, is when people didn't have a clear vision of what they're creating, it was very difficult for them to get there. They were just kind of like a tumbleweed sometimes. And I'm not saying that's everyone. So when we designed the course, we wanted to create something that was going to give people the tools and also the experience and kind of like be part of a journey together so that they can have, while they're with us in the course, to have the most impactful transformational experience possible, but then also have something they can take with them to continue and take with them for the rest of their lives, and to continue that journey on their own or, with their friends, family, whatever. But it was something that was really impactful, create change, a tool they can take with them and give them more insight and clarity as to like what they want to create in their life and a pathway to get there.
It's great. Module 1 is called Clarity and Decision, Choosing the Life You Desire.
Yeah, so module 1 is like starting in the mind. It's like thinking about, what do I really want? What do I think that I want in my life? So we get clear, we ask some questions, then we use some breath work to go a little bit deeper once we've kind of thought about it and wrote it out. And I'll tell you one thing, Stephen, that I see happen a lot is like the life we create from where we are right now or that we think we want, as we transform, that's going to change. So, we can only see a certain potential from where we are right now, but as we start doing the work, that changes. Like, for example, I might have a fear of abundance or scarcity. I might feel scarcity in my life. And so I think that I really want lots of money and I want to have like this and that, whatever it is. But as I start to change that and that vibration change, I might realize actually I don't want, a Ferrari and a 5-bedroom house or all this money. What I actually want is like maybe more community or something like that, or more fulfillment. But we have to start somewhere. So we start with this vision and then we start figuring out how we can get there. And as we start going there, how to kind of pivot along the way as we have new realizations and really dial in that outcome. Because the more we dial it in, the easier it is to kind of like attract it and create it. And as we start creating that vision and we start getting closer to it, we're going to see like, actually, I kind of wanted this, but it's actually more a little bit like this. So as we turn that dial and dial it in, we're able to get really dialed into that life we want. And the only way to do that is to kind of like start going through it and having the awareness in real time as we start attracting these opportunities to kind of like discern if this is actually what I actually really want. And so, yeah, it's an interesting process. But module 1, starting with let's create the vision, what we think we want right now, and let's kind of explore that and go a little bit deeper and dial it in.
Module 2, Breakthrough and Healing, Embracing the Heart of Your Inner Child.
Yeah, so the next module, we're gonna go a little bit deeper into our inner child, where a lot of the limitations that are blocking us right now may be residing. So it's usually in our belief systems, things that have happened to us, that we're kind of carrying with us, and we want to have a deeper dive to see if we can process and kind of bring some light into something that might be holding us back. So we feel like we've been getting closer and closer to this dream life or this outcome we're looking for, but there's something that we can't see. That's usually something in the subconscious mind. So if we can access the subconscious mind, get some awareness to that, that's when we can start, that process of reprogramming and changing.
Module 3, belief and identity, reclaiming your inner power and self-trust.
So whatever's uncovered in module 2, some of these things maybe from our past or some things that we see that are coming up as a pattern, we start to really looking at like, how is this defined who I am and who I've become? And a lot of the times there are some obvious things, but sometimes again, like the most subtle things that in our subconscious mind are actually things that are holding us back the most. So we try to really dive a little bit deeper into the belief structures that we've created around ourselves based on the experiences we've had and the inputs that we've had, and kind of like our perspective. And we just really reflect on that and use breath work again. Like every module, we're going to have a little bit of like thinking, and then we're going to go deeper into the breath work to kind of process it and explore a little bit deeper.
Module 4, awareness of core beliefs, seeing the subconscious clearly with compassionate inquiry.
Yeah, so here's where we really dial in, because almost all beliefs, limiting beliefs, they kind of come down to about 20 that we found that, all limiting beliefs, there's about 20 that we can kind of divide them down to, I guess is probably the best, or refine them down to. And then once we can establish which are the ones that are most present in our life, then we can start working on how we can reprogram that. Because once you reprogram a belief, and just real quickly, like the lens through which we see life starts from beliefs first. What we believe, then based on what we believe is what we think. Based on what we think, we kind of feel, and then finally we act, react, or don't act at all. So if we can change at the belief level, then all of those things can change. Your triggers can reduce. You have less stress. Your nervous system comes online. So this is about really trying to find which is that one or two beliefs that are most present right now that I want to kind of focus on changing.
Module 5, subconscious reprogramming of a new you, rewiring from truth, not fear.
Yeah. So this is going to be the opposite of the belief that we've identified. So if I have a belief that I'm not enough, which leads me to always trying to prove to people, being a people pleaser, and this is kind of like one of my beliefs from I worked on, trying so hard to prove myself in business. Once I realized that I was enough, that need to do that kind of dissipated and allowed me to focus on things that I actually want to create. So once we find the belief, we're going to show everyone how to transform that through repetition, emotion, visualization.
Module 6, mastering self-attunement, listening to the body's wisdom.
Yeah, so this one here is more of like getting into the daily practice of now grounding that practice into an everyday ritual to really reprogram, because reprogramming takes a little bit of time. And we're going to have some more practices of nervous system alignment. Every week we're going to give you a practice on breathing mechanics to build that foundation I was talking about earlier. This one here, we're really going to hammer it in, because now that we've started to reprogram, it's like, okay, let's set this new baseline now that we're going to operate at.
And finally, Module 7, faith and integration, anchoring your vision with embodied devotion.
Yeah, so this is kind of where we get to the end of the journey. So we've created the vision, we've explored it, we've tried to see what's holding us back, start anchoring a belief, and now we come back to the vision again. And the vision is we're going to reprocess that, maybe re-explore and see if it needs to be changed a little bit, and then really anchoring it into that belief of what's possible. And having that listening to our intuition, following those guides that are leading us to there, and just knowing that as we start to really focus on this vision, things are going to start coming into our awareness, opportunities that are going to lead us there. How do we kind of process them? How do we kind of decide, which is the way to go? Is this right for me? And it all comes from that inner guide. And the more you can hear that and tap into that, the more it's going to be able to guide you on your journey.
Well, what a great architecture. I love the way you're sort of taking breath work and applying it in a very systematic way to shifting core belief systems and reorienting around reprogramming and attunement and faith and integration. Really great arc of the journey here. So again, the whole program is laid out in detail at elementalrhythmcourse.com, elementalrhythmcourse.com. In addition to the 7 90-minute live sessions, which Giovanni has just described, you'll get recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts to work with, study, and highlight. There's weekly practices that you can do from home. In fact, daily practices, since this is the point of this, is to really build this into a daily practice. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as a small group time to connect with other participants, which really creates a field of support for you in your journey of transformation. On the page, you'll also see a number of extra bonuses that Giovanni has been generous in adding. There's a 90-day full app membership of the Elemental Rhythm app access. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, as part of the program, I want to make sure that all of the students that are participating on their journey have a tool that they can use every single day. Now, they don't need to download the app, it's a bonus, but there's going to be guided experiences they can use on their journey to help them each week from whatever we're working on. They can obviously re-listen to the module and they'll have the breathwork in there, but there's also like daily practices they can use to accompany their transformational journey and then bring those into the weekly calls.
That's a great extra bonus right there. And then second bonus called Creative Visioning Process Workbook. This is an e-workbook from Giovanni. You want to share more about that?
Yeah, so this just will help students to really dial in their vision. So ask them questions to reflect on so they can kind of like write it out and keep that with them. Because part of creating the vision is to reminding yourself of it. So the more you can hold that vision in your awareness, the faster you're going to manifest and create it if it's in alignment with that future self that you're trying to work towards. So we've created a workbook that really just helps support the learning experience so they can journal, ask questions, and write down kind of their vision in there.
Fantastic. And then there's one extra final bonus that is a really robust bonus that I think is really a blessing to receive. And you get that if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is a guided audio meditation called the Future Self Breathwork Journey. Giovanni, you want to share more about that?
Yeah, so that's going to be a 40-minute experience. That's going to like what we did today was like a little just a taste. It's going to take you a lot deeper into that process to start really getting that vision and getting clear. So um, doing it coming into the course is going to be just getting you primed and ready to kind of like really get clear on what you're creating in your life. So it's a fully curated 40-minute experience that you can do at home and you get to keep that and use it whenever you like.
That's a great extra reason to sign up today. So it's clearly going to be such a profound program, and I think you're going to be really blessed if you take the journey with Giovanni. We've kept the investment very accessible. It's just three payments of $128. So you can save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The journey is going to begin on August 20th and run Wednesdays at 9 Pacific, noon Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some great extra testimonials about his work. His breathwork sessions are like a guided journey into the soul. Gio's approach gave me tools to truly shift myself and others. He created a safe space where I could finally release emotions I had been carrying for decades. So you're clearly in really good hands, and you will be blessed, I am sure, to take this journey with Giovanni. So again, it's all at elementalrhythmcourse.com, elementalrhythmcourse.com, and you'll get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight tonight of the Future Self Breathwork Journey. So Giovanni, really great hour, very inspiring, and really love the depth of the journey you took us on there. So anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full course with you?
I'm just super excited, Stephen. I love meeting new people, especially people that are kind of committed to this journey of self-discovery. So I'm excited to meet the people that we're going to go on this together. And it's going to be a beautiful journey that you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to walk with new insights and a new outlook on life. And it's for both the beginner and the person who has been doing this work for a long time. And we've seen many people in our ecosystem that have got tremendous value out of this type of journey arc. So I'm just super excited and blessed to kind of be able to share this with the community here at Shift.
Great. Well, thank you for saying yes to that huge pivot of your life and focus and saying yes to your heart and bringing this work forward. So, Giovanni, it's been really a pleasure to learn from you here today and journey with you. And so thank you. And thank you all for joining. And if you'd like to go further, again, all the details are at elementalrhythmcourse.com, elementalrhythmcourse.com, and you'll get that special bonus journey, future self breathwork journey when you sign up by midnight tonight. So thank you so much. Many blessings.
Thank you.